This is the After Party, live with Kim McAllister. Pick a couch, grab a drink, and settle into the conversation.
There it is. Hey, everybody. It is the After Party Live. Crazy things are going on with my computer in here. I don't know what is happening. I think it's because I took the whole system apart and then took it to Disneyland and then brought it back and tried to reconnect everything. And so things are a little off this morning. But happy Monday to you. Happy Hide in Your Cave Monday. I hope you guys had a great Thanksgiving. I know I had a really nice family time in Disneyland, and it's nice to be back and nice to be in the home office and the home studio hanging out with you guys again. Here I am forgetting to do things all over again. The PayPal contributions are open and rolling in, and Wes, the first to kick it off with a $5 contribution via PayPal today. So appreciated. Please find the PayPal information, if you're so inclined, in the show description or in the About tab here on the After Party Live on YouTube. So thank you for that. Thank you to everyone who funds and supports the Mark Thompson Show, the Nikki Maduro Show, and the After Party Live. Couldn't do this without you. So grateful, really. And so here we are on Hide in Your Cave Monday. I have a good cave to show you today, and I'm excited. Oh, I didn't wear my Mindy ears, my Mickey ears. I did wear them in Disneyland for you, though. I had them on Mark's show and on Nikki's show last week. But yeah, am I still in Disneyland mode? No, I don't think so. We were there for 4 days, and I'm kind of Disneyed out. That was kind of enough. You know, we always think on that last day, oh, should we stay one more day? No, it was enough. We had our fill. And then Julia, my daughter, who's 15, is going back to Disneyland in March because her high school band trip this year is to Disneyland. Last year it was New York, and they had a really good time. So this year it's back to Disneyland she'll go. Look at this. Frost warnings in parts of Florida tonight. Ooh, you ordered some sweats. Chilly. It's been really cold here in Northern California as well. Beautiful in Southern California, though. Sunny in the 60s every day. Beautiful Disneyland weather for sure. This is Lori. Hi, Lori. She says, if you're reading this, you can post shows you want to share on your YouTube channel with only a few clicks. I did not know that. I have appreciated people posting short videos or publicizing the show on their Facebook pages, but yeah, if you can repost it on YouTube, however we grow the show, however it works, we do need to grow the show in the new year to kind of keep it going. So I appreciate that information, Lori. Thank you. Luis, welcome back. Kim, hope you had an awesome experience at the Mouse House, he writes. Mahalo for joining us on your vacay. Absolutely. You know, it's funny because this job is fun for me. You know, they say if you have do something for a living that you enjoy, you're never truly working. And I'm not going to say it's not work because, you know, you're putting together a show, you're coming up with stories, you're doing things, but I love it. And I love this community we've created. And so it doesn't feel like working on my vacation. It feels like checking in with family on my vacation. So thank you for that. And thank you for the contribution to the show. As always, so appreciate it, really. Okay, let's jump into some of the stories here so we have some time to get to them. One of the stories that I saw was about the Golden Gate Bridge. And we have the weird, eerie Golden Gate Bridge song when the wind whistles through the cables. It makes this vibrating sound as the wind heads through. And people that live in this area have been complaining about this eerie Golden Gate Bridge vibrating. They call it a haunting wail in SF Gate. And the noise has been a problem for the last 4 years. So the engineers have been looking at ways that they can get rid of this noise that's really bothering people. The noise happens when gusts of winds pass through the 12,000 sidewalk slats on the western handrail. They say it transforms the guardrail, the handrail, into an instrument. The whole point it's there was for safety and structural integrity. The wide slats were replaced with much more narrow slats in 2020 to help resist wind on the bike lane side of the bridge, so on the ocean side. The result is this eerie, haunting, vibrating kind of noise. They call it a song, but it's a noise, and you can hear it for miles and miles around, especially if it's a windy day. So residents are saying it sounds like torture. It's a screeching like torture. They want it to stop. They're done. They say it's hella loud and they don't want to hear it anymore. So they have this new railing. They say they were pleased to see the new railing is allowing wind to flow more smoothly across the Golden Gate Bridge, but they didn't realize that they were going to get so many complaints. And complain people did. Thousands and thousands of complaints. So what they're doing is they're going to add these clips. They're in the shape of U's. They're about an inch thick and they are painted the same color as the bridge, international orange. So most people won't even notice them. But they have these rubber sleeves on them. And the hope is that putting the clips onto the cables will help stifle the vibrations. They call it vortex shredding. So the clips cover the edge of every slat from top to bottom at a cost of 450 grand. They think that it'll be done sometime in the summer of 2025. And they think this will get rid of this horrible screeching, vibrating noise. So this is it. I mean, it's good that we've got a solution. And I guess $450,000 to help the people that live near the bridge sleep at night and not have to listen to that sound all day is good. You wonder why they didn't think of this or why they didn't realize this is going to happen beforehand. I don't know. So they looked at all kinds of solutions, finally ended up with this clip solutions. They say that the sound might still be audible during circumstances of severe wind conditions. So major windstorm, you're still probably going to hear the sound. But that this clip solution has been shown to reduce the sound by 75% without the clip. So, okay, that's what we're doing. No more vibrating Golden Gate Bridge song. That's it. Did you see this video? I have to show you this. This is crazy. This is video of this wild sea lion situation. They were on this hillside in Monterey, and all of a sudden, I tried to look at the video, see what you guys think. I don't know if it's passing sound from a passing car. It almost looked like either someone threw a rock or maybe it was a bird. I'm not sure. Something spooked these sea lions, it seems to me, and they just went tumbling down a cliff. Here's the video. The marine experts say this is really not normal behavior. Look at them going end over end over end, falling, not some sliding, but some falling, crashing into each other. It's the sea lion avalanche. Wild. And the problem with it is that it's not normal. Look at them going down, down, down. Yeah. Almost to the point where they could be injured. I might go back to it and take a look at that. But that's what happened with these sea lions. And so let me tell you a little bit more about this story. No one is really sure why they freaked out, what exactly happened there, but they just went tumbling, tumbling, tumbling. It happened at a harbor last week, and Monterey Harbor. They're calling it a sea lion avalanche. The marine biologist with the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration's Monterey Bay National Marine Sanctuary, her name is Lisa Utal. She said that video is horrific. She said the animals may have been disturbed by someone or something, but that it's not typical and not normal for them to topple over like this at all. She said they're usually It's a relaxing, calm atmosphere for them on shore. They're resting, they're collecting their energy back up so that if they can go back offshore and feed on anchovies or deeper fish, that they've are rested and ready to go do that. She said the sea lions have been congregating around Monterey since the 90s, and in recent months, they've seen many more come to the area. They even had to close a beach in August because there were so many sea lions out there. So they congregate where there's abundant food. So that might have been why they were there. But they said this is new. This is totally new. They are now congregating around Monterey Harbor in a way that they haven't done in the past. So I don't know exactly what happened, but the biologist Utal says people need to remember to give these animals space. That people are required to stay at least 50 feet away from sea lions. I would say probably further than that is better because they can charge you. Um, I don't know. She said, if you're disrupting the behavior of these creatures, you're affecting how well they get their food. So whatever happened to send them tumbling down that hillside, really concerning. The video is wild. And thank you to everyone who sent me that because I know a lot of people did. Did you see this animal story? Someone put a vest on a deer and no one can figure out exactly what happened here. This is a high visibility vest. And this deer is seen wandering around this town in British Columbia wearing it. And they don't know what happened. No one understands how this deer got this vest on it. People are doing a double take when they see this deer walking around. The vest is zipped right up. They think someone had to tackle this deer and put the jacket on it. At first, some thought maybe the deer got a little tangled up in it, but then they realized no, it's not the case. It's zipped up, it's perfectly put onto this deer. There's a British Columbia Conservation Officer Service. They have opened an investigation now trying to determine what, if anything, to do about this vest-wearing deer. One of the sergeants said, I don't even want to speculate on how this might have happened. They're not predisposed to wearing clothes, he said. Even if you can't get close enough to the wildlife, even if you can get close enough to wildlife to put it in a sweater or a jacket or boots or what have you, we highly recommend against that. So now this creature is what, permanently wearing this vest unless someone captures it and cuts the vest off. But at least you can see him coming. Imagine if all deer wore those vests and then maybe there would be less accidents on the roadways. Could see them, reflective vests. Uh, yeah, wild. I don't know who got that on there. What struggle that must have been like. This is a sad story, but I wanted to show it to you if only because this picture is amazing. This beautiful creature, this leopard, has passed away. This animal is critically endangered. It is at the Living Desert, was at the Living Desert Zoo and Gardens in Palm Desert. And the leopard's name is Zoya. She was an Amur leopard, A-M-U-R, Amur leopard. And she had lived at that zoo for the last 11 years. Zoya was one of the rarest cats on Earth. She was also one of the oldest Amur leopards in captivity, and she died last week at the age of 21. The good news here is that she outlived the typical life expectancy for these species. In the wild, they live 10 to 15 years. In human care, they live 15 to 20 years, and she was 21. So she was an old lady. Her eyes are so beautiful. This animal is so beautiful. She, the folks at the Living Desert say that she was calm and majestic and gave this sense of awe-inspiring serenity that her engagements with guests helped share the story of the vulnerable species each day. She really is a beautiful creature. KTLA has many more pictures if you're interested in looking at all the beautiful pictures of her. She liked to be up on the elevated perches in the habitat, and she liked to watch the warthogs from afar. Wonder why? They are honoring her memory by, they say, appreciating nature and life's small, peaceful moments, much like she did. So that is Zoya the leopard with the most beautiful eyes. I've, wow, so pretty. Um, let's move on to SpaceX because SpaceX has been given the go ahead. There's the NASA Falcon 9 SpaceX rocket. They're going to Saturn. They're doing it. They are launching a Dragonfly mission to Saturn. This is part of a rotorcraft lander set for Saturn's moon of Titan as part of the New Frontiers program. The Dragonfly's current launch window, July 5th to the 25th of 2028 at NASA's Kennedy Space Center in Florida. So the rotorcraft lander is set to sample various sites on Titan, which is Saturn's largest moon, trying to figure out its composition in different geological areas. So what they'll do, it's a nuclear-powered rotorcraft looking for prebiotic chemical processes that were common on Earth and Titan as well before life developed, according to SpaceX. They put this out on Twitter. The cost of this, NASA's launch contract with SpaceX, $256.6 million. Wonder where Elon Musk gets all that cash. Dragonfly's scientific payload is supposed to set the tone of whether there's habitability on Titan. They're going to investigate the progression of the chemistry there, where there's carbon-rich material and liquid water that may have mixed for an extended period. They're going to search for any indication of whether water-based or hydrocarbon-based life once existed on Saturn's moon. The whole thing being managed by the Johns Hopkins Applied Physics Lab in Laurel, Maryland. The whole Dragonfly project. So yeah, they're going to go see Titan in 2028. SpaceX. Lori sends me this picture, this story, and I didn't want to put up the picture because it looks like a picture of a turd. So we'll just put up a picture of a dinosaur instead. And thank you, Lori, for sending this story about more than 500 fossilized poops showing how dinosaurs came to rule the Earth. The research they think might be the largest study ever of dinosaur poo. Isn't that great? But what's interesting is they say that data from the research shows how the diet of dinosaurs allowed them to dominate the planet. They looked at hundreds of fossilized poops of dinosaurs, plus some petrified vomit. That's got to be a great job. It's 230 million years old, the poops and the vomit. And it shows dinosaurs were persevered because they really weren't picky eaters. Whatever they could get their hands on, boom, they did. The first dinosaur ancestors, they say, were opportunistic. This according to a paleontologist at Uppsala University in Sweden who led the study. They were eating insects, fish, plants, everything they came across. Ultimately, according to Marvin Kvornström, who's the paleontologist there, he said over millions of years, that type of flexibility in their diet allowed them to rule the earth. They say we know a lot about the life and the extinction of dinosaurs, but not so much about their rise. So they are saying that looking at all of the samples which contained undigested food residues, that they could see what they were eating. There's a fish scale in there, an insect in there. They say each dropping is a tiny window into what was on the dinosaur menu. And with enough of these fossilized coprolites, the name of fossilized poop, they said it would be possible to reconstruct the entire food web from the period when dinosaurs rose to power. So they went about collecting all these coprolite samples And they gathered all of them that they could find from dinosaurs and other animals as well, and they ended up with more than 500 samples. It is a lot of poop. They published last week in the journal Nature the study showing that while other lizards at the time were focused on one type of plant or one type of food source, the dinosaurs were eating everything. And it mattered because at that time, during the late Triassic, the supercontinent Pangaea was breaking apart. There were oceans forming, there were volcanoes erupting, there were climate shifts, and the dinosaurs, they say, were very quick to adapt to all of these new conditions. If the animal was more specialized, they had a tougher time. And that is why dinosaurs became the dominant species on the land, is because they were flexible in what they ate. So, for those of you who won't eat insects and are picky eaters like me, you're not surviving when the S hits the fan. Learn to be flexible. I found this story, and if only because of the video, I really have to share it with you. They found this gourd, this really weird gourd that squirts out these cucumber-like seeds explosively. And I love the video. It's so weird. Here, scroll back up. I think I can show it to you. Here. Here's the squirting video. Check it out. Look at that. Those seeds are coming out pretty fast. That's what it looks like. Yep. This is a century-old mystery of how this cucumber squirts its seeds like this. It's a reproductive strategy, according to CNN, that has interested scientists and naturalists since the Roman times. These squirting cucumbers blast their seeds off over hundreds of times their length. And now they say they know how they do it. So the blast only lasts about 30 milliseconds. When ripe, the hairy green fruit measures about 1.5 inches long. And as it drops from its stem, it launches this fountain of seeds and sticky liquid at a velocity of about 45 miles an hour, 20 meters a second. The seeds reach distances of about 33 feet. The squirting cucumbers are found across the Mediterranean and Europe as well, in parts of North Africa, Australia, Asia, and North America. And they are members of the gourd family, relatives of zucchini, squash, and pumpkins. But the way they do this with shooting their seeds, that's rare. They're the only ones. So the story goes on to talk about ancient Roman times and how even back then there were mentions and descriptions of what happened here. Recently, though, researchers figured out by using high-speed video, time-lapse photography, CT scans, and digital 3D reconstructions, analyzing this whole squirting cucumber thing, that the squirting mechanism is more complicated than a simple buildup of liquid and a release of an internal pressure. That along with the engorgement of the cucumber, other physical changes in the plant before and during the explosion shape the angle, the height, and the distance of a successful speed spew, according to the study published on Monday in the journal Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences. They say it's a new idea that optimal seed dispersal is not only about building the greatest pressure in the fruit, but it's about other things as well. So they say the most effective seed launch relies on a trade-off between pressure and fluid accumulation and other distinct changes that prepare the fruit for this eruptive moment. Feels like I'm watching something very private there. Tiny little squirt. Look at that. Yeah. So that's the squirting gourd. Can we talk for a moment about the lotto of the day? Let's do it. I'll stop the squirting gourd now. This is a guy from Kentucky, and he's been working it. 9 years he's been trying to play it. And finally, after 9 years, he hits the numbers, $25,000 a year for life. He's been using the same set of lucky numbers for the last 9 years. His name is Billy. He's from Lexington, Kentucky. He said, yeah, been playing the same set of numbers in the Lucky for Life drawing for 9 years and 7 months. The numbers represent anniversaries, jersey numbers from his favorite Major League Baseball players. And finally, his numbers came up in the November 19th drawing. He gets the second prize, $25,000 a year for life. He says, I've just been waiting for this dream. He looks like he took the lump sum, got a $500,000. His prize money, he said, will go toward paying off debt and doing some projects around the house. He said it's a nice little reset. Nice for him. Happy holidays to you too, Billy in Kentucky. Here's a weird story. Check this blob out. I know. It doesn't look like much, but it's something. This is some equipment from the U.S. Fish and Wildlife's Midwest Fisheries Center. It's a telemetry receiver, is what it's called. And when they went to get it, they found it covered in this goo, kind of like this blobby, weird, gelatinous thing. And so they haul the receiver up to the surface. They find it in this jelly-like state. And in the blob, thousands and thousands of animals. It's called say it if I can say it right. Picentatella magnifica, the magnificent bryozoan. It forms these large colonies, sometimes bigger than a basketball. The individual creatures that make this jelly, they're called zooids, Z-O-O-I-D, zooids, or zooids. They're smaller than sesame seeds. They look like a little tiny horseshoe with tentacles, is what they look like. And the zooids live together in this dense jelly-like mass where they feed and they reproduce. It's like this giant ball of life. They say the animals might look strange, and it might even look gross to you, but that they are a natural part of the underwater ecosystem. They're not dangerous to people. Unfortunately, the blob, interesting though it may be, will decompose and die over the winter. But the offspring will float away and they will form new colonies elsewhere next summer. They say this is the first time that a telemetry receiver had been found covered in a colony like this. They've had previously, they've said the jelly blobs they've found have played host to insects, snails, mussels, crayfish, all kinds of creatures. But they were fascinated when they pulled out this telemetry receiver and found this. How crazy. Yeah. Can you imagine? I think it's moving. Don't touch it. Ew. I got a really cool email, which leads me to hide in your cave Monday. Sometimes you just don't want to come out. So we're going to hide in our cave for just a few more minutes. I found this, or actually Annie sent me this, cave system in the Swiss Alps, rumored to have been a dragon's den. Yes, it's kind of interesting. The old stories that go along with these things. See if I can show you a picture of it. Something happened when I unplugged my computer and my ability to search for pictures was taken away, and I don't know why. So now I have to type everything in manually. But here it is, this beautiful cave in the Swiss Alps. Check that out. Looks like a cave and a waterfall. It's a little bit of everything here. This is a One of Switzerland's most iconic mountain lakes. They say it's a uh, natural beauty. And because of this, there are myths and folk legends that surround its origin. So, high within the cliffside here of the mountains bordering Lake Thun, 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 just outside the Swiss resort town of Interlaken, that adventure sports fans will absolutely love, the ancient St. Beatus Holen cave system has a history that dates back thousands and thousands of years. The locals there say there's a myth, a local legend about a battle between a dragon and a traveling pilgrim deep within the cave's passages. Today, the St. Beatus cave system they call awe-inspiring, a family hotspot for outdoor enthusiasts, but it is a geological wonder. It's pretty cool, and it includes making your way along this windy path toward the entrance of the cave. You have to cross over several bridges. You have to cross over this cliffside waterfall that roars and tumbles into Lake Thun from within the cave. You can see these immense, glimmering, icicle-shaped stalactites and stalagmites on the floors and on the ceilings. So this is pretty special, this cave. I want to know more about the story, more about the myth of the dragon. I'll show you the inside of the cave. It's very beautiful. And I always appreciate the people that send stories. So thanks to Annie for this one. And here's what it looks like inside the cave. All right, I have this picture. Check that out. Yeah, it's cool, right? So when you get inside of there, there's placards in English and in German. So a lot of people from different areas coming here. It's a really popular spot. You can pass exhibits, ancient remains of cave bears that once lived in the caverns in there. It's about an hour long, this journey into the heart of the mountainside. And it is topped off with this view of something called the Dragon's Head, which is this massive rock formation, and likely the reason why there's this story about a dragon. They have tour guides that will take you down and explain the geological wonders that you're seeing, and also will tell you about how early settlers used some of the features of this cave to survive. They even have an app, a cave app, that will help teach you about the cave as you go along. They have a restaurant up above. You can have a charcuterie board under candlelight with mulled wine and cider. Kind of a cool thing. I want to know more exactly about the legend, but I have to look that up. Apparently, there was a saint, Saint Beatus of Lungern, who arrived in the Sundlaunen region, came across this village that had been terrorized by an immense dragon living in the nearby caves. So, this saint, armed with a staff and a cross, Saint Beatus, journeyed into the depths and confronted the dragon by invoking the power of the Holy Spirit. Possessed by sudden hysteria, the dragon tore out of the cave and plummeted to its death in Lake Thun. So there's the legend. Pretty cool. Thank you to Annie for the really cool story about this Swiss Alps cave. Love that. And that, my friends, is Hide in Your Cave Monday. Tomorrow, Travel Tuesday. So if there's anywhere you want to go, let me know and we will head there. Take a little virtual trip together. Maybe somewhere snowy. Are we in a snowy kind of mind? I think so. I do want to tell you, missed telling you a story. So let's end with this story. And this is a story about calorie labels. And it turns out They are dangerous and ineffective because they don't reduce how many calories people eat. And we know, let me get rid of the hide in your cave Monday. We know that they're mandatory, right? And I guess in a lot of restaurants, especially fast food places, how these are mandatory signs. They're supposed to help us figure out what we want to put into our mouths and what we don't, help keep us a little bit more healthy. And I'm reminded because it's worked for me. If I've looked at a sign and I've seen how many calories is in something, I'll go, oh, no, that's a bad choice. I won't order that. I'll do something else. So it's surprising to me that they're being called ineffective. Because I don't know if has it ever happened to one of you that you've seen one of these signs and thought, I just 950 calories seems like an awful lot for that, and I don't think it's something I want to be doing right now. Here's the sign that got me. It's the In-N-Out menu board. Here it is. So 670 calories for a double double. Not that I was going to order it, but if I was, it's not something I would go for. Trying to look at the other ones. A lemonade, an extra large lemonade for 390 calories. I think someone in the car wanted to order something, a lemonade or something. And I said no because I thought that was too much. So my point is, it has worked in my car when have ordered here at In-N-Out. But these mandatory labels that were introduced by the government required in 2022 forced all out-of-home food outlets with more than 250 employees to show the calories in their food. This is trying to tackle obesity by doing this. But there's a new study in Nature Human Behavior that these labels did not make a difference about how many calories people bought or people ate. I guess people just ignore it. No. There's an eating disorder charity that told Sky News the study proves dangerous and ineffective policies, and it can't be justified. They say the findings reflect what we already knew, that calorie labeling on menus has a negligible benefit to the general population, but is so damaging to people with eating disorders that it can't be justified. For those with eating disorders, the calorie labeling can worsen feelings of anxiety and stress and lead to harmful behaviors like binge eating, exercising excessively, or restricting food. So you shouldn't know what you're doing to your body. You're going to feel guilty about it, whether you know how many calories are in there or not. It's not like you don't know. I would argue this is silly because when you're eating something like that, you know exactly what you're putting in your face and you just don't care. And hey, more power to you if that's what you want to do. I'm just saying, I don't think the calories have much to do with it. I think the people would be eating it whether they saw the calories or didn't see the calories. So there's calls for this type of policy to be scrapped. They're saying it's not good for people. They did this study in the UK out of the University of Liverpool, and they looked at more than 6,000 people who bought food in more than 330 outlets. And they surveyed those customers before the changes were introduced and afterward. And they found the labels had made no significant impact on how many calories these folks ate. That the labels did make people more aware of how many calories were in their food, but it didn't change what they decided to eat. And so the research indicates that calorie labeling alone might not have a significant impact on people's eating and the number of calories purchased or consumed. The study also shows 15% of companies researched for a separate study had actually fully implemented the policy. This is in the UK. 20% of eateries hadn't implemented it at all. So I don't know. I think arm people with information, you know, deal with your guilt, deal with whatever mental issues you have, but at least know what you're doing when you're doing it. Just like people who Do drugs. No, that's not good for your body. Neither is the double double. Just saying. There are sometimes everything in moderation where we order it anyway, but you're not going to go and do that every day, right? I don't know. Seems kind of sane to me. I'm going to the chat. What do you guys have to say? What do you think? Uh-oh, we have a troll. I didn't see it. I'm sorry. Um, what do you say? Mindy says, if you want a burger, you want a burger, you got to have it, right? Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes you do. Lori says, put it out there for those that care for sure. Rev P says, so they're going back to the head in the sand method, right? I want to know. And if I know and I decide to order the 670 calorie double double, which is not likely because I don't eat meat from fast food places, because I'm not flexible like dinosaurs, then at least I know and I can enjoy that item while I think about how many calories it has and how rare it is that I would do such a thing. I don't know. It just seems so silly. Like, what? It's not happening if you don't know it's not happening? Is that like the COVID test? Don't take the COVID test so you don't know that you have COVID. Don't take the pregnancy test and you won't be pregnant. What? Come on. Gordon says, if people don't pay attention to the calorie count, that's the point. Jim says, once in a while. Yeah. Heather says, I don't mind the labels. More information is better. Exactly. The more information we have, the better choices we make. Or when we make the poor choices, if you're going to make a bad choice, then roll around in the bad choice, revel in the bad choice, right? But at least know it's a bad choice. Come on now. Noliphidian said, Dr. Dean said you can eat whatever you want, just not much of it. Right. Mindy says, we ate meatloaf growing up. Not good for you, but good. Gordon says 2 times a month isn't so bad. Yeah. Eddie says, that's why I don't go to the doctor. They always find something wrong with me. Damn it, Eddie. I know. I'm telling you. Phineas says maybe the ingredients would be a better deterrent. I don't know. I think people would be, I guess everyone has a different outlook, but don't you think people would be more inclined to look at, you're almost eating a day's worth of calories in one item rather than what's in the item? Maybe. I don't know. Hetty says, never had a doctor say, what the hell are you doing here? You're fine. Go home. That's it. Yeah. I just feel like you need to have the information. Elise, hi, says, I do base my choices on the calories all the time. I like the labeling, as do I. I love that. I love the In-N-Out menu that shows everything right up front. Easy menu to read. You know exactly what you're doing when you're doing it. That's it. Yeah. Sea Dog says, if it's late and I've been drinking, I don't care. Just give me the fries and burger. Yeah. Heather says shaming people doesn't tend to work as a deterrent. No, I don't think so either. But I don't think putting the calories up there is shaming. I think it's just giving people information, right? I mean, make your choices. Here's your information. Do what you got to do. Yeah. Not just the calories, says Phineas. How much sugar is in it? I mean, I think if you're trying to put all that stuff on there, it's not going to be as easily readable. You have to stick with the calories. I don't know. Oh. Okay, so that is the show for today. I do kind of have one more story I want to show you. Can I do it? I think let's try it. So I know you know how I love a good message in a bottle story. This one has to do with a message in a bottle that was found in Scotland, and it's really, really old. Okay, so this is a message in a bottle, Scotland style, 132 years old. And instead of it being washed up in on the beach at sea from sea, it was found in an old lighthouse And I have video we can watch together, and this will wrap our show up for today. But I just love this story. Check it out.
It's not a classic Sting song, but it is a message in a bottle dating back to 1892.
Engineers in Scotland made the discovery in an old lighthouse. The perfectly preserved note, written 132 years ago, is hidden in the walls. It details the work other engineers have performed to install glass in the structure, and it includes the workers' names, the men who discovered the piece of history.
Look at that writing.
To work on that same exact piece of glass that the original engineers had installed.
It was like the guys that wrote it were here with us. It was like that. We could feel them.
To have that absolute connection and see their handwriting and think what possessed them to put it in a bottle and put it under a floorboard. It's fantastic.
This lighthouse is now part of a hotel at the site. The letter is being returned to the location where it was found, and the current engineers plan to add their own note for future generations.
I thought that was a really sweet story and a really good way to end. Huge thank you to Luis throwing down $5. Another $5 came in via PayPal from Wes, and I just so appreciate the support. So thank you to everyone who contributes to the show. Thank you to Annie for the Dragon Cave story, and to teacher Lori for the dinosaur poop story, and to anyone who wants to email, find something interesting you think would work. You can find me at, I have it here, Kim@theafterparty.live is the way to email. Kim@theafterparty.live. Feel free to share the show. I'll do some short videos, so you can just share a couple of shorts in and around, whether it's YouTube or Facebook or wherever. Thank you for being here. And I will see you tomorrow on the Mark Thompson Show. David K. Johnston will be on with us. And then tomorrow on the After Party Live, it's Travel Tuesday. So pack your bags. We're taking a virtual trip together. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Make it a really good one. And I will see you tomorrow here on the YouTube. Bye, everybody.
The After Party Live would like to thank the following contributors and viewers like you.